Your Sports to shout out our hosts who had great calls last week and our members who are coming off a huge week where they shipped over $1.2 million in prizes. Congrats to our very own Bobby who landed a ticket to the DraftKings Live NFL Final in Miami.
He called it a touchdown! Woo!
Touchdown, Ayuk!
Let's go!
Let's go! Let's go!
Bobby made a huge call on 2% owned running back Rashad Penny, who ended up with a slate-breaking score of over 29 fantasy points on DraftKings. Penny also landed on Run Pure Sports member the Man 11's 100K winning lineup on FanDuel, continuing the trend of six-figure hits for RPS members. On our Sunday morning Wood Show, Hoop body bagged everyone with his Hunter Renfrow call. Congrats to him for sticking to his guns with his rich parents play of the day while everyone else made fun of him. Renfrow went on to have a monster 30-point day for the Hoopster.
This one with my boy Renfrow, I just cannot wait. And this could be it because I'm feeling good about it, where he gets that 30 piece. How many guys in the NFL go for 30? Like, there's not many guys.
And he's not going to be one of them, I'll tell you that, Hoop. But you'll get
You finally jumped in. Thank you.
Oh, he flipped on me.
Big T continued the good mojo Sunday night with his call to start Jakeem Grant in Sunday night's Showdown slate.
The guy that's going to win the slate, I'm always good when I pop in at the last second like this, is Jakeem Grant. Mark my words.
Run Pure Sports member Anger Tornado joined Big T on the Jakeem Grant play to bank a first-place finish in the DraftKings Showdown tournament, taking home over $13,000. Also, big congrats to Run Pure Sports member Swint, who took home $20K in MMA. Bad Lab joined our free MMA show the day of the event to lay out all of the best plays. Our guests have been killing it lately, so make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our free shows. If you are not already a Run Pure Sports member, now is the best time to join. We partnered with SaberSim to offer a huge package deal where you can get access to all of Run Pure Sports content along with SaberSim's industry-leading optimizer and projection system. So what are you waiting for? Join today and let's run pure.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports NBA Hardwood Show. I'm your host, Mangone. I'm here with DC. I'm here with Hoop. DC, we'll go to you first because you're pulling double duty, right? You were on the NFL show, so if you are a Run Pure Sports subscriber, of course you want to tune into us, but afterwards, tune into that NFL show and get the takes for the two-game slate tonight. DC, how is it going over there on this Tuesday?
Things are good, man. Things are real good. Holiday season. We're in the given mood here at RPS. And I was out running today. A beautiful Colorado day. 52 degrees, bright sunshine. Ran 11 miles. I was just thinking while I'm running, I'm thankful, right? I'm thankful to be that my job is when I get back home, I got two shows hanging out with my friends talking about sports and DFS, and it's just it's a good life to live. You know, wouldn't be possible without the people watching the show, without the members, and life is good. So to me, the holiday season is all about realizing what you have, right? It's so easy to get caught up in the daily grind of life, family, work, whatever it is. Take a step back sometimes and realize, hey, things are good, you know, for most people, and people that are struggling, I feel you, but life is good here, and we're in the given mood. We gave away a bunch of tickets on the NFL show. Check that out after this one if you haven't. And I'll give away a couple more tickets on this one as well. If you're watching, get in the live show chat and post funny jokes, make fun of me, make fun of Hoop, Mangone, whatever it is. We'll give away some more tickets and hopefully have another good NBA night. So excited for sports tonight, no doubt about it.
Yep. Excited about that. Hoop, I don't know if you know, but like DC just called us his friends, so there's no turning back for him. We made the cut. I don't know if we want to, but we did, right? So
Holden's not here, so I felt like he was the front word.
Hey, whenever something like that happens, I just think of the Step Brothers gifts. Like, we just became best friends, man. Give a little internet air hug. But yeah, I was having like a blah day. Weather sucks here, just a blah day. But DC's inspired me. Like, he's right. Like, there's a lot to be thankful for. We get to sit here and talk about sports essentially for a living, have fun. There's no reason to be down. It's a day to be up, a day to be excited. We got 2 football games tonight. We got an NBA slate. The NBA grind is becoming a little tedious. I mean, it beats you down from time to time, but hey, I'm inspired by the opening speech from DC. I'm ready to go, man. Going is 3-3. I mean, I know you've been a little sick. You're on the mend. I mean, are you pumped now or what?
Oh, I'm pumped. We got all the good mojo from DC, and people say in the chat, Pastor DC is here. He's packing the churches around the holiday season, so it's good times here in the chat, having a fun time. I'm pumped for this slate as well. Should be a good time. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of dive into this one and talk about it. Like DC said, if you're a subscriber, get into that live show chat. Have some fun in there. DC will pick whatever he thinks is best. So have a good time. Should be a lot of fun, and we're going to break down a nice little NBA slate, and again, we have NFL tonight as well, so if you want that content, head on over to Run Pure Sports, sign up now, and get on that. Hoop, no promo code right now, but we're giving tons of tickets, right? So that alone is a reason to probably sign up right now, right, Hoop?
Yeah, I mean, they had the week to sign up for the Saber Sim and RPS promo, which was a steal. We'll have something new probably to start the year, but for now, it's just gotta pay the full price, which is still worth it and a better value than most of all of our competitors. All sports, one price, everything under the same umbrella. You sign up, you get absolutely everything on our website. It's one hell of a deal. So still sign up.
Yep. Excited about that. Ready to go. Ready to talk this NBA slate. And of course, we'll have tons of news flying in. We already got some news to kick it off that Tim Hardaway Jr., he is in the health and safety protocol. So a lot will change with some stuff here. Things might change when we get off air. That's the reason to be a Run Pure Sports subscriber. Getting that Discord chat, obviously breaking it all down. There is no Up to Lock show today, so don't want to get anyone too upset. But again, we got the NFL show that you can go back and watch if you have not watched that. Let's dive in, though. Let's talk about this slate. DC, let's talk about the Pistons and the Knicks. And I typically go to Hoop first about the Pistons, but you're bringing such great mojo, and Julius Randle is on the slate, and you love playing some Julius Randle. The Pistons love to play some big men, but I want to go to DC, who's spreading that good mojo right now, and get his thoughts on this Knicks and Pistons game.
Yeah, I think Randle makes a ton of sense. Obviously, the Knicks, hurt by COVID. If you look at the game log for Randle, it's a little disappointing, but to me, I want Randle when he can dominate a basketball game, right? When he can be the bully and take over and be like, this is my game. Against the Pistons, you can do that, right, at home. So I think Randle makes a ton of sense here with all the injury news. We talk about raw points sometimes, and with so many players out, you got to go get those when you can get them. And it's less about the price, right? It doesn't really matter if Randle's 10-3 or 9-7 or 9-4. It's like if he can deliver a big game, then he's probably going to get there because there's going to be a ton of value on the slate. So I'm in on Randle. We'll see how all this news breaks out between both teams. But yeah, I think Randle going to have a big role and going to have a good game, right? We're talking on the NFL show. To me, the Rams are just going to move the ball up and down the field. Picking the right ones is tough, but this is a kind of a situation like that where, listen, Detroit coming into New York, they're not going to put up some giant fight. And I think Randle will do his thing. So yeah, pay up if you can.
Yeah, I definitely think Randle can get the job done tonight. You can make an argument. You are locking yourself into a guy right early on, but maybe you want to do that. It's definitely one of those slates where there's some news. We obviously the Damien Lillard news, which could change a ton too. And that game, I think that's 2 hours behind it, or I think it's only an hour. Yeah, it's 30 minutes because we have 7:30 lock. Starts at 8. That's the Pelicans game. So that is news that we hope to get. We might not have it in time. So that is something to think about while building your lineups and constructing things. DC, anything on the Pistons side? I know you're kind of on the Knicks a little bit. Do you have any interest in some Pistons running backs? I think Isaiah Stewart's not bad on DK at 5-1.
Yeah.
Also, I think the Pistons prices are better on FanDuel. I don't think they're priorities, but they have some decent price tags. And on these smaller slates where it's only 5 games, sometimes you do have to roster some guys like a last piece in. And on FanDuel, Sadiq Bey last piece in, it's not the worst idea to go to.
Yeah, I'll just be 100% honest. Doing the early NFL show, all the COVID stuff, it's hard to be locked into anything when we jump on the show. I don't see anything from the Pistons right now that I really want to play, but either of you guys could easily talk me onto something, or news could break that changes that. So I don't want to be like tied to no Pistons in my lineups, but right now I don't see a lot that I'm going to there.
Yeah, I agree. I think FanDuel and Hoop, you play a little more FanDuel. I think FanDuel is where you consider it more with Sadiq Bey at 5'2" and Isaiah Stewart at 5'6". There are some options on DK you can go to, but talk about your Detroit Pistons, because we all know you're a huge Detroit Pistons guy and Detroit sports fan. And then also talk to me about the Knicks and what you're doing with some of these other guys in the spot.
That bit's getting his played out is Big T going to FedEx and delivering the gear right after the show. But you got to keep it going. I mean, you can't like just stop giving me the Pistons bit. You got to, or the Detroit sports bit. You got to stick with it.
You got to commit to a bit, Hoop.
And you got to keep going. Yeah, exactly. For me, this game though really depends on the status of Derrick Rose. He's questionable. And if he were to sit again, you're looking at a team that's relatively thin at the guard through small forward position. We saw Kemba Walker start and play 37 minutes. And it sounds like if Rose misses tonight, Kemba Walker is going to start again. And you have to imagine that he's going to get those minutes. 5'2" on DK, 5'7" on FanDuel would be one of the better value plays on the slate if Derrick Rose sits. So we got to get that news. We got to get the starters. Well, this is the first game on the slate, so we're going to have all that, which is great. The rest of the Knicks, kind of site dependent on FanDuel. These guys are all like dirt cheap. Alex Burks is 5'6". Evan Fournier, 5'2". He's 5'1" on DK. So I think he's in play on both sides. I mean, a guy that's having a rough year for sure, but without Derrick Rose, the upside's there. We saw it last game, 42 minutes, 47.5 fantasy points. Prior to that, played 27 minutes, 27 fantasy points. Maybe something started to click for him. I'd be willing to take a chance on him only if Rose sits. And then Julius Randle, 10-3 on DK, not super appealing, but 8.8K on FanDuel. That is appealing either way. If Rose is out, much better play. If he's in, I think Randle, you can still play on FanDuel. So this game for me depends on Derrick Rose, and they're all better priced on FanDuel. And then on the Pistons side, just a rough team for fantasy. There's no doubt about that. They're not an appealing team, regardless of their situation. They have a pretty deep team compared to a lot of other teams on the slate. Sadiq Bey at 5.2K though on FanDuel would be a fine option. More of a last guy type in, more if you're playing tournaments and you have a lot of Knicks guys, because Derrick Rose ends up getting ruled out. Bey, and then Isaiah Stewart you could play at 5'1". But for me, what happens here really depends on Derrick Rose's status, and we'll get it. It's the first game on the slate.
Yeah, that's a great point. And also like Kemba would then pop, and like just to kind of like pull up DK and just like put it into perspective, the Knicks really like tough situation they're in. And again, the Pistons, they're a team that you can attack with fantasy points. They're a team that can get the job done. When you target them, you can play these Knicks. They have Randall's 10-3. Burks is 7'6". Walker's 5'2". Fournier's 5'1". Mitch Robinson at 4'4". And Nerlens Noel is at 4K. And that is 6 guys above 3.2. The next guy is Taj Gibson. So the point I'm getting at is the Knicks are thin and they're playing the Pistons. It's definitely not in a void spot. And that's if Derrick Rose sits. If Derrick Rose is in, then you make it 7. So it gets a little tougher, but those guys are still in play. We want to obviously get the Tom Thibodeau lineup. We know DC as being a former Timberwolves fan, or he's still a Timberwolves fan. Tom Thibodeau, he runs his guys on the ground, right? So
he does.
This is a spot where the minutes could work out really well. So
listen, these types of situations, I had season tickets when Tom Thibodeau, the 2-3 years I had season tickets. Tom Thibodeau was the coach the whole time. I saw it every night. If you're playing well, he will leave you in the game, right? And this is that type of situation for the Knicks. He tries to win every game, right? Thibodeau treats every game like it's like the game 7 of the NBA Finals. In my opinion, it's not the correct long-term way to coach, but it's great for DFS when you get a shorthanded team and you're like, listen, these guys are playing well and going off. He'll leave them in the game the whole fucking game. That's just what he does.
Yep. Thibodeau doesn't care, and definitely guys that we need to consider in these games. Let's move on to the next one, though. Let's talk about the Pacers and the Heat. And Hoop, I will kick it over to you. I feel like you're someone that plays the bonus a lot. I like to place the bonus, but it's been a little bit tougher this year. I think we've talked about the Pacers struggles and how many guys they've had. I do think on a shorter slate, I mean, Sabonis is kind of in play. It's tougher on DK, but FanDuel at 9K, I think it's more in play here. Do you think the situation is too crowded? And then what are you doing on the opposite side with the Heat, where that situation isn't as crowded? There are some value plays, but the problem with some of these values is the prices have gone up because we've had this situation for, I don't know, like maybe a week or so. So break that down for me, Hoop. What are you doing here with the Heat and the Pacers?
Yeah, it's on the Heat side, it's tough because we were playing a lot of these guys without Jimmy Butler. Well, now we're going on like week 2 or 3, and the prices have adjusted. I mean, Kyle Lowry's 8-7 on DK. I can't really do that. He is 7-8 on FanDuel. So I guess if you were going to play Lowry, go to FanDuel, not on DraftKings. Tyler Hero is back tonight, so that's obviously a downgrade for all these cheap guys. But I will say about Hero, on FanDuel, he's only 6.2K. I mean, if he's at full house, 6.2K for Tyler Hero, it's a little bit too low. Dedmon, somewhat interesting. In all honesty, though, I'm not going to be here all that often. And then on the Pacers side, 10-6 for Sabonis on DK. Like, I can't do that. It's not the same guy as last season, but like you said, 9K on FanDuel. I can do that. I can play Sabonis. Not like a core type guy, but the last guy in, Miles Turner, 6-5 on FanDuel. I could do that. The price tag or his style of game suits FanDuel scoring better with all the blocks and whatnot. So I think that's a fine option. But not an appealing game here. 211 total. There's just not much. Unless we get a pop-up injury or something, I'm not going to be playing too many Pacers or Heat tonight.
Yeah, so I wouldn't hate Dwayne Dedmon at 5'3" because I think they might need his size, but it's not a priority, and there might be some better plays, and I think we're going to get better plays as it goes on. DC, I'll go over to you. Gabe Vincent, 5.8K. Like, I know his role's going to get taken, right, from Tyler Hero a little bit and some of that usage, but he has been playing a little bit better. I think the point I'm getting at here is some of these prices are just too high. And I think we have other situations that are changing and we need to jump on those. You need to know in DFS when's the right time to jump on and jump off. And I think this is the right time to kind of jump off these Heat. How about you?
Yeah, I've been in lockstep kind of with a lot of the RPS community, or Big T, Tambo, we're in lockstep. K Fallon, a little bit less, JSU more so during the NFL show. And so far today, but I'll disagree with you guys a little bit on this game. I like the Miami bigs here. They are really, really thin. Missing Adebayo, obviously Butler, not a big, but still a guy that has high usage. PJ Tucker also now out. I mean, you saw PJ Tucker putting up like three consecutive. I don't have his game log up in front of me, but he put up like 3 consecutive 40 burgers.
Yeah,
he's out. So that leaves the Heat have very, very few big men. I think they're good on the guards, right? I don't like Lowry. Hero as I think he's an okay play, but I don't love it. But the Heat big men, especially against Indiana, who's playing Miles Turner and Sabonis, one of those two is on the court at all times. And for, 18, 25 minutes a game, both of them. Dedmon, if he doesn't get in foul trouble, like he's going to be out there a large majority of this game. If he does get in foul trouble, you're 7. I mean, this guy's playing 15, 20 minutes a game. He's over a fantasy point per minute. He's going to close like their other big man is Udonis Haslem, who is essentially a coach, right? I mean, he's not really he hasn't played minutes in 3 or 4 years. It's a kind of a weird situation with him. So he's not really an option. You have Adebayo, Tucker, Morris out. They have Paula is the other big man. These Heat big men are going to have to play minutes. They just have to. They're at home. Matchup's fine. They need bigs. So, yeah, Dedmon, you're 7. I'm not playing those guys together because they are directly competing for minutes. But I wouldn't be shocked if both got there. And I think there's a very, very good chance that one of them gets there. So I will have Dedmon or Yurt 7 on one of the two on most of my lineups.
So I agree on Dedmon being I think he's the safer play. I think Yurt 7 is the higher upside play that can definitely
Yurt 7 could go for 40 here. I'm not, yes. I don't mean that as a joke. I believe that. So.
Yeah, I don't disagree. The only concern I have with Yurt 7 is the minutes could not be there. He could easily get in foul trouble.
He's going to play, man. He's going to play. Even if Dedmon plays 30 minutes, which is a high projection for minutes for Dedmon, I think Yurtsev's out there for the other 18.
Yeah.
And I think one of those two is going to be on the court at all times. And, sometimes I like to look at it this way. If you could get the Heat center position, all 48 minutes for 8,800, like those two are going to put up, I think, 54 for sure, 40, I think, and maybe 50 plus fantasy points at their price points. I think they're strong plays. So that's where I'm looking in this game. It's a Miami big man.
Yeah. So Casey Okpala he's 6'8", right? So tough for him to like slide in the big man role.
For a team that plays two centers, man, they play two centers.
Yeah. I mean, they might need more minutes for him. So I think Yurtseven, I went back and forth. I had Dedmon on the cash chart. Yurtseven, I didn't know what to do with yet.
He should be on the chart, I think.
I'm still going back and forth because it might be just good enough value where I don't need to, but
he's going to play. He's
back and forth about it for sure.
He's not going to be one of these guys that just completely fucks you over, right? He's going to put up 12 plus fantasy points with upside for more.
Yeah. And the thing that's nice about him too is like, I don't know if you don't have that Blazers news, right? Like people might not pull the trigger on that value that has a lot of upside and be waiting. And that's something that I might be doing too. So definitely going to like update stuff and be staying close to that news. Hoop, has that changed your mind? Anything with those Heat centers, or do you want to move on to the next game?
Yeah, kind of overlooked Dedmon a little bit. I mean, fair price tag on him, 5.3K. He's a guy that can definitely go and get you a double-double. Flash some upside. I mean, a couple 40 burgers, 2 out of his last 5 games. So, I guess I overlooked a little bit PJ Tucker being out. But that's definitely a boost to a guy like Dedmon. Fair price tag, prefer him on DK though. Double bonus, I think is definitely in the realm of possibilities. So yeah, I'm cool with Dedmon.
If I told Hoop, if I told myself, if I told DC, hey, the words came out of someone's mouth, I overlooked PJ Tucker being out. We'd all be laughing, but it's just true. It's
massive difference. I would not be on Dedmon or Yurtseven if PJ Tucker was in. Yeah. Now I want one of them in every lineup that I build. It's that big of a difference to me.
It's just funny. It's funny, like things I just think, oh man, if we said this like a year and a half.
That's the state we're in, right? I mean, that's the great part of DFS is it would be boring if it was just everyone was always healthy and it was like, is LeBron James going to score 52 or 48 fantasy? Like, I get the projection part of it, but like the fun part to me of NBA DFS is when there's all this chaos and trying to figure out where the minutes are going to go. And to me, Miami has to play these guys. They have to. So I like playing players in my NBA DFS lineups that have to play, and that's what I see with these Miami big men.
All right. Well, that will wrap up that one. Let's move on to talk about the Portland Trailblazers and the New Orleans Pelicans. But before we do that, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe on the video. Helps us out a ton. DC, I don't know if you watched yesterday's show, but Title pulled the plug without the plays being given.
Ooh.
And he did it where like he was doing like this long-winded rant of like, you guys could have got it home, blah, blah, blah.
Sounds like Title.
He was trying to, he was searching for an out. Like he was so nervous to pull the plug, and me and Mangone kind of pushed him along. But people were pissed.
Title is he's a great host of a show. I love doing shows with Title, and he's like actively like trying to improve the game. He's like, do I do the hoop badass move of just like, yeah, fuck you guys. We'll pull the show when we want to. Yeah. Or does he be the nice host? He's not quite sure yet. He'll figure it out. Though.
He towed the line. He was towing the line a little bit. He really didn't want to do it. I mean, he definitely didn't want to withhold the plays, but we pushed him along. Like he's got to put the people in their place a little bit. Free show. You got to stick to what you say. And as I'm saying this, giving the speech about the likes, I just realized I hadn't hit the like yet. Number 139 right here.
Yeah, I actually hit it right before I said this. And another thing too to mention, DC, while Title's on the show, right? Like, and he's doing the rant where he's about to close the door. Like, we got to the number, and he's like, "Well, the shot clock expired." And I sort of agree, the shot clock did expire, but others were arguing. They're saying, "Oh, it's not over till the show's over." And
yes, I agree with those people. I say, as long as you're on air, if the number gets there while you're on air, you got to give the play. So I didn't see the show, but I have to. I'll disagree with Title on this call.
Well, one thing to say with you, at least, also remember too, that this sometimes gets lost in translation. There is like a minute delay. So sometimes we might be on air and the likes are there, right? And then they're just like, it's not, because we kind of get off. So,
and I guess the best part about the story is Title's play was like the guy you needed last night, Lonzo Ball.
Who was it?
Yeah, it was Lonzo.
Oh, man.
Title, I was so mad, too. Title took mine when I saw in the playbook. I was like, I was going to do Lonzo. And then I went to Otto Porter, which didn't do too bad. It got the job done. But.
Well, Caruso over Lonzo, that didn't work out for me super well. I still cashed somehow because Kobe White benefited. But, Lonzo versus Caruso was like my last call. So, sure.
Listen,
if I would have known Title, play of the day, I would have played him.
Jeff Lanier, honestly, I think Title is a dick out of all the hosts. Like that might be like the worst take of all. Title's like the nicest guy we have by far. If you think Title is the dick, I can't imagine what you think about the rest of us.
I don't know. So he didn't put A, so I don't know if he's saying he's like dick, like he's not good, or he's saying he's a jerk.
Yeah. Can I ask you guys a question, non-DFS related?
Sure.
Title and Big T. We saw the first matchup at the basketball court, party of Big T's. I had, I wanted a little chunk of change on Title in that matchup.
Yeah.
Big T now, though, is playing basketball, like going to the gym, playing 5-on-5 basketball. The rematch is in March. We were on the NFL show, and I publicly stated on the show, I'm switching sides. Title, I thank you for the victory.
I'll take that action.
You want the Title?
I want Title, yeah.
All right,
yeah,
$100 right now?
Yeah. Just do straight up 100, yeah. Okay, first off, you better be coming in March, right?
Oh, yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, you'll be there. And then the next thing is, Big T has always been playing basketball. He was playing basketball last year. The problem is
what he was saying on the show is he hadn't exercised or hadn't played in like 6 months.
Okay.
Drinking
all right, well, maybe it
4
could
days.
be wrong.
I wasn't there, but I assume.
Yeah, the drinking did occur for sure. The drinking nonstop did occur. We'll see. I hope he takes it seriously, and all he has to do is get in a little better shape. Like he's got to he bought the Peloton, and all it does is collect dust. He needs to dust off the fucking Peloton, get on there once or twice a week. Be in a lot better shape to win that game.
Can I ask you a question? Ask you a question, Coop. If prime Big T, the very best he's ever been in basketball, and prime Title, the very best Title has been in basketball, they play one-on-one, who wins the game?
I'm going to say Big T probably. I mean, I'm still somewhat skeptical about Big T.
The size difference, man.
The size difference for sure. I mean, I think he'd definitely be able to get him in the post. Big T just couldn't move.
He could score in the post as the game played. He just didn't have enough energy to score in the post time after time because he was so tired. So he just threw a lazy shot. Right?
He couldn't keep up. Like Title was able to track down the rebounds and everything. So, prime versus prime, I'll definitely go Big T. You have to imagine at some point Big T was in better shape than he's in currently.
the other reason I would take Big T in like their best shape is one thing I saw Title do, which it was sharp on his part, but as a Big T backer, I caught it and I was like, this ain't happening tons and tons of times over and over. Once Big T got the position of the post, he'd go for the foul. And that ain't flying with someone who's backing the Big T side. I'll tell you that.
Listen,
I don't know if I'm going to back him this time though, because I need to make sure Big T is in the proper shape because that is my big concern. If you
here's my take. Final take here. We'll move on to the NBA slate after this. I think a prime Big T backs down Title to the basket, using his big ass, and just scores a layup every fucking time he's the ball. If he's in any modicum of shape at all. That's what I think.
And one thing I'd like to see in the rematch is this game played when everyone arrives on like Friday or whatever day everyone gets there, opposed to Monday after everyone being getting fucked up for 4 straight days.
Absolutely.
This has to be, the game needs to be held prior to everyone getting hammered for multiple days in a row.
This has to be pretty, in reality, especially with being with March Madness, it has to be an early morning activity, like around like 8 or so. It's kind of early, but that way, like people can get like Big T's got to get his like DFS stuff up. And I think it makes sense. You do it kind of early, right? Grab some good breakfast, eat up and then just go watch the game and have a good time. I think that's the way it should be done. And I'm excited to hear how it goes. And I do want Big T to get in better shape. So I don't feel like we have this, imagine if he was like, I want to see Big T out there grinding, hitting up some conditioning.
He keeps saying he's gonna, but I don't don't see the Peloton getting used, and I see Big T waiting in line at Chick-fil-A a few days a week. So I mean, we need some of that to turn a little bit.
I'll say
do you
this.
have a Peloton yourself?
I don't have a Peloton. I'm just I'm a treadmill guy. I go on the treadmill or run outdoors. Free weight lifter. That's what I do. I don't like the bikes.
Yeah, I'm not
trying
trying
to
to say.
You're not so insecure that you have to post about your athletic accomplishments on Twitter every day you do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a runner, but I'm not like a 10-mile runner. I'm more of like a 3-mile guy.
Okay.
All right,
That's
I
don't for me. 3 miles. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. That's what I say. I know it's hard to do what you're doing. That's why I give you credit. I can't.
Yeah, well, we don't.
I can't do it.
But it's just a mental thing. That's all it is. Like running.
Yeah.
If you're like an anti-running, you think it's physical. My legs can't carry that far. Maybe they can't right now, but you can absolutely run without pain. It's just about, can you manage the moderate amount of physical pain and the moderate amount of boredom and just fucking run,
And just keep going. Yeah.
Just keep going.
Let's close this on a good joke. Twig says Prime Mangone smokes both of them. That is not true. I would not do that.
The most underrated story of the entire weekend is Mangone played basketball against Rubio for about 30 seconds to a minute and near-death experience.
Yeah, I mean, I said it. I was like, I got so much Red Bull in me. I'm also on I took like allergy medicine, so I had the upper and the downer. There was too much going on. I'm not in good shape. It was a bad idea.
You got to stop taking the medicines and just drink alcohol. It fuels you. I was fueled entirely today. Ran for 2 hours. Only thing in my system was like 12 high noons from last night. I barely even remember the last minute of the freaking Vikings game that propelled me to a nice win. It's all good, man. You use what you got in your body and you go get it done.
Yeah, no, wouldn't work out again. I'm not wagering myself on basketball, but I hope we get a good game. It should be a fun time.
And the best part about that is Big T bet on you to beat Rubio.
Yeah, the mojo was flowing for me in Big T, and then it died out when the basketball game for him started too. It's funny when he was struggling, he's like, I feel like Mangone. I was like, at least someone feels like me. At least someone can relate to how I felt that day. But let's move on. Let's talk about this next game. We got the Blazers and the Pelicans, and this is a big one, obviously, to talk about because we got some news we are waiting on. I mean, Dame questionable, Nurkic questionable, Little questionable. I mean, the slate can just change right away. The Thanos snap of the finger, boom. It could just be a whole new slate. You're not on guys from the early games because if all those guys are ruled out, I mean, you just got to load up on this game. DC, we'll head on over to you. Pelicans are a team, they don't play a lot of defense, and we got to like some of these Blazers. And on the flip side, Blazers don't play a ton of defense, and Valanciunas is getting a little cheaper, and I think he's a guy as a stud that you could spend on this slate. So break it down for me, DC. What are you doing here with this game?
A tough game for me. I'm interested to hear guys take, but I mean, Lillard, Little, Nurkic out, CJ McCollum out, Cody Zeller out. If the Blazers don't have any of those three guys, and I don't really have a read on if they will or will not, you still get the whole team in play, basically, right? I mean, you see a 218 total here. Portland's still favored by 1.5. I kind of think my hunch is Lillard plays in this game, but who knows? You know what I mean? It's just so hard to predict this stuff. And if you want to save spots for this game, tremendous opportunity. I'll say this. I've been targeting point guards against the Pelicans all year long with great success. They are the very worst team in the entire league defending pick and roll man, right? So that's Damien Lillard's best trait. He has been the top or near the top best pick and roll point guard player in the entire league for years and years. And if he's able to go here, and I kind of think he might be, he can torch this team. So I like Lillard. It's tough. Listen, if Lillard plays in this game, that's the guy that I want to play. You can play more guys from this game, but he would be the priority. I feel confident saying that. I feel so confident enough about this matchup for Lillard that I want to save a spot for him, right? And have a plan to move off him if he gets ruled out, if we don't get that news before lock. But this is for a guy that with NBA stuff looks at a lot of numbers, play types. this is about as good as it gets for Damien Lillard if he's able to play. And we've seen when Lillard plays, he's not limited, right? You never see like a 22-minute Lillard. He's like in or he's out. And when he's in, he is kind of mostly himself, especially with CJ out. So I'm saving a spot for Lillard. I will have him in my lineup if he is active.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm in the live show chat, and Big T is definitely, getting pumped for this game. He said,
"Get on the show, Big T."
He said, any stupid rules Title wants can be used. But I just think, Big T, you don't have to just go out and say that. At least negotiate a little bit, or at least like see what you can get. That's what do you think? Because I don't think he needs to. And you're on.
So I just want some sort of verbal commitment from Big T that he's going to be in better shape, or this game is going to be played earlier in the week.
Let me cut you off, Hoop.
Yeah.
I feel like Big T gave me that verbal commitment last hour on the show.
Okay. Big T also gave me the verbal commitment when he bought the Peloton a year and a half ago when COVID hit that he was going to get
You've been burned before.
Yeah.
DC, for those of us who want to do our research, which again, I want to be on the horse that's Big T, but like I want to just do a little bit of investigative research, right? Get some coach speak or some player quotes. When was this at? Was this halfway through the show? Was it at the end of the show? Where was it at?
Well, we got Titletown and Big T in the live show chat, going at it a little bit. It would be great if we jumped on the show and we could hash out the exact details as we talk.
Who doesn't want that story? I mean, who doesn't want to see that story play out? Title, goes into Big T's hometown. Both guys on a bender, 4 straight days of getting, pretty.
I heard Title sobered up specifically for the match.
Oh, I watched it. He went on a run and everything.
That's fucking bullshit, man.
Yeah, and Big T was hosting, so he had although he didn't do shit. I mean, the Amber does everything over there, but I mean, he had everyone at his house. How great of a story would it be for Title to come back in town and Big T whoops his ass? Like, I'm all for making fun of Big T, putting him in his place, but it would make for a great story if Title comes back cocky and arrogant and gets put in his place by Big T.
And who doesn't want a game 3? Who doesn't want a third game? Right?
Exactly. Who doesn't want the trilogy? We want
such an easy Big T bet. Such an easy Big T bet here.
I hope I'd be willing. I would happily lose money if Big T wins. I want to see it happen.
Yeah. I see that. I see that.
Because there's a clear discrepancy. Like, Title's a young dude in really good shape. Big T, man, I'm hoping for better. And it's not going to take much for it to be a competitive game.
Yeah, I 100% get where you're coming from. Let me give a personal example. I have friends from back home who have seen me, 40 pounds heavier, and they're betting against I won't put the times out there, but very ambitious marathon times in the next 2 years, because they'd be happy to lose anyway, right? I would love to see you do that and collect my money. That's kind of the Big T bet, right?
Yeah.
And someone in the chat's asking, "Oh, this needs to be recorded." It is. You can go rewatch it if you like. It's on Twitter. So
I think someone had on Uncle T might have had it on Periscope. Someone had it on Periscope.
Uncle T did. Yeah, I watched it on Periscope. Uncle T did a very good job narrating.
Good job.
Yeah, Uncle T crushed it as usual. But Hoop, let's go over to you. Let's talk about this Pelicans and Blazers game, right? Because this is a big game tonight. And the Pelicans, they're 2-point favorites, which the Pelicans aren't favorites often. And I know the Blazers, they're not a team that I'm super impressed with, especially on the road. They've been really good at home, surprisingly. But what are you doing here with this game between the Pelicans and the Blazers and this news, Hoop?
Yeah, so, Damien Lillard the news is obviously big. This game is 30 minutes after the slate lock, so we should have it. If he's in, I agree with what DC, I was going to call you Big T. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I agree with what DC said. If Lillard's in, he's in. He just plays, and he's going to get all his minutes, and he's healthy and good to go. So as long as
every time he's in, he just plays.
And I almost prefer him in these spots because it seems like these are spots he just comes out and crushes. 9-8 on DK is cheaper on FanDuel. Good play all around. Love Powell. Powell's been playing phenomenally well, filling that CJ McCollum role. Have to wait on Little and Nurkic, but those guys would obviously get a boost if they were to be out. I mean, if Nurkic sits, Nance becomes an even better play. Then on the Pelican side, Valanciunas, like you said, man, the price is coming down again, but the production's still there. You can count on the guy for probably around 40 fantasy points. They're favored at home, so I like Valanciunas. And then Josh Hart has been playing well, and another guy that will play a ton of minutes. We have a close competitive game here. He's played 42 minutes, 32, 33, 35, 42. So he's good to go to play the minutes. He's been over 30 fantasy points in 4 of those 5 games. I think Josh Hart is a really strong play as well. So, Lillard, Powell, Hart, Valanciunas, and then if Nurkic is out, we'll start to look at guys like, Larry Nance a little bit more.
Yeah, agree on the Hart thing. I mean, the minutes he's been seeing has been wild. So, like, you definitely want to consider some of these guys. And I feel like Josh Hart can fit the bill of this game, especially if it goes a little bit smaller because he's a great rebounder, right? You could see a double-double from Josh Hart tonight, and that wouldn't shock me at all. It definitely seems like a pretty good spot for him. So I like his upside here. I thought that was good points that you brought up there. Hoop, DC, any final thoughts here on this game? Or is it more so just, hey, we're still going to keep waiting on the news, and we'll obviously update with the content in the Discord?
Yeah, we'll see what the news, I'll reiterate my final point. I'm a guy that does, even in NBA where matchups matter, I think less than other sports. I do follow the numbers and the matchups sometimes, and this looks like a really, really strong one. The best matchup maybe in the league for Damien Lillard. So he'll be a guy I'll be rocking with tonight if he's active. We don't know for sure. I think he will be. If he is, you'll see him in my lineup.
And on the flip side, if those Blazers are all out, man, like this becomes an even softer matchup for a team like the Pelicans. So lot to obviously break down there, but a lot of news that we are still waiting on. Let's go to the next game, which already had some news that broke. Got the Timberwolves and the Mavericks. We are still waiting on Porzingis if he's going to be in, but Tim Hardaway Jr., he's out for health and safety protocols. So obviously that's pretty big news with the Mavs. We need to get that lineup, get that Porzingis news, super important. Obviously, you already like Jalen Brunson. Really good play here. And then on the flip side, those Timberwolves, they're definitely in play here. I mean, if you need a spend up option at the center position, Karl-Anthony Towns is in play today. He definitely could have a big game. It's just the question is, will he foul, right? He is an offensive foul problem. He has the upside in this spot. So someone I'm definitely not overlooking. Same with D'Angelo Russell, even at 7.7K. I know what D'Angelo Russell can do in this matchup. He definitely has a ceiling. And there's also some other values on the Timberwolves side that you can't ignore. Like, I think that a Naz Reid is interesting. I think a Malik Beasley has upside. And on the Mavericks, with Tim Hardaway Jr. being out, like Dorian Finney-Smith is someone that's going to see a pile of minutes. And I think it's still a really good play. So there is a lot to like in this game, and it could get even better if a guy like Porzingis sits. DC, I'll go to you since you are a Timberwolves guy. What are you doing here with a lot of these plays? Because I think this is definitely a really good game on this slate.
Absolutely. You're going to see, I guarantee you're going to see a lot of D'Angelo Russell, Karl Towns, pick and roll, 2-man action, isolating other players, 2 corner threes, right? You stretch the defense and you let your 2 best players go to work. And like Vanderbilt out for the Timberwolves is huge. He's a fantastic rebounder. If you look at some of the rebounding stats, like contested rebound percentage, just weird nerd stats that I'm into, Vanderbilt is like a beast. He is out of this game. Karl Towns, listen, like averaging, if you look at most of his games, it's like 10 or fewer rebounds. I don't think you're going to see that this game. I think Karl Towns is going to clean up on the boards here. I think it's going to be a lot of pick and roll with D'Angelo Russell. You obviously have Edwards and Beverly both out. I mean, maybe the Timberwolves flop here as a team, but if you told me the Timberwolves were going to win this game, I'll say this. In a Timberwolves win, I think a very good chance Russell and Towns combine for 100+ fantasy points. Because I think it's going to have to be all them. They don't have a lot of other offensive weapons. Again, a fan of the Timberwolves, so I know every player on their roster, there's not a lot there right now. There just isn't. It has to be Russell and Towns. So I'm big on these guys too.
Oh, you guys see the picture in the live chat of Big T, Big Country.
Oh man!
Oh, you got to check that one out. So good. The Memphis 50 jersey. You want a Big T?
I already awarded the $250 ticket to JP from the NFL show.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
I did.
Memphis one is so good.
He might be getting a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
So good. Wait, did you see the Renfro one, Hoop?
Yes, I saw that. Those kind of hurt. Those kind of hurt a little bit.
No. But the funny part about it was, when I saw the first Renfro picture, I was trying to obviously do the show and monitor chat at the same time. I didn't even notice that it was Big T for Renfro. Like they look.
Oh,
so
you're
similar.
talking about that one. No, I'm talking. I saw the one that David 1982 posted, like the how it started versus how it's going, like the Cooper Cup catching the pass and then Renfro.
Yeah, that's a great one too. Yep. Yeah, we're giving away again. Anyone watching, we are giving away tickets at the end of this show. If you're in live show chat, make some jokes, take a shot, and you got a chance at some tickets because we are giving away at the end of the show for sure.
Yep, we're giving away those tickets. So, get in that chat, have a good time. It's definitely a lot of fun. Let's go over to you, Hoop. Timberwolves and Mavericks, definitely a game that we have to be looking at. What's your thoughts here on this game?
Definitely an appealing game, which could get even more appealing on the Maverick side. If Porzingis is out, we're going to be looking to more guys. Porzingis, Hardaway Jr., and Luka out. I think Jalen Brunson becomes probably a lock on the slate. In a really good spot. They'll probably still be favored potentially, be close to like a pick 'em most likely, but Brunson would be just a very difficult guy to ignore at that point. Dorian Finney-Smith, like the 5K price tag is somewhat scary. Regardless of who's in and out, he has a low floor. A guy like Trey Burke, I think, could pop up and have a big game here. They're going to need scoring if those guys are out. If Porzingis is in, I think he's a strong play. So we've got to see really on the Porzingis thing. And then for the Timberwolves, they're obviously a thin team tonight. Jalen Noel, 3.3K, I think is a great play. Russell has, started to display a nice little floor, a guy that typically was somewhat risky, come out and have these complete duds. Well, we really haven't seen many of those lately. And now with this team thin in a game that should be competitive, I do like him. Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I think Russell has like a pretty close to a 40-point floor in this specific spot. Jalen Brunson is like if you watch him play, he's good because he's like a cerebral basketball player, right? He kind of understands what's going on, which I think will work against a decimated Timberwolves team. He's going to have a tough time, I think, slowing down D'Angelo Russell, who's a superior athlete, right? The top 5 draft pick. Like, I see this game being high scoring, both offenses getting going.
Yeah.
It's harder to manufacture a good defense than it is a good offense, right? If you have D'Angelo Russell and you have Karl-Anthony Towns, you can just run a pick and roll, get everyone else around the perimeter, and you can operate your offense that way. That'll work. With defense, when you got pieces moving all over the place, assignments are all over the place, both of these teams, I think, are going to struggle defensively in this one. They struggle defensively anyway. Take out some big pieces, and it just seems like a game that is going to be very high scoring to me. So,
I definitely like this. I want exposure really to both sides. Jaden McDaniels, Cat, I think, is a good spend. Naz Reid. There's about 7 or 8 plays in this game that could become even more if a guy like Porzingis is ruled out. You got a nice-ish total, 215, and then it's going to probably end up being close to a pick 'em, which is what you want, a back and forth between two teams that are thin. So it's really good game for this slate here tonight.
Yeah, and I think this game, there's a lot of guys missing, like you said, that definitely affect the defense where a lot of points can be scored. And also there's some like higher usage guys sliding into some of the lineups. Like if Trey Burke starts, right? I'm not saying you don't play Jalen Brunson here if that's the case, but he does soak up some usage away from Jalen Brunson, where you can make an argument that if there are some other guards on this slate, maybe that price tag on Jalen Brunson could be an interesting fade because of the way the starting lineup is set up. It's something to think about with roster construction, depending on how much value we get. Does that make some sense there, DC?
Just in my opinion, if Trey Burke is in the starting lineup with Jalen Brunson, that's a pretty big blow to Jalen Brunson, where I think they could potentially kind of share that playmaking duty. Jalen Brunson is good when he has the ball in his hands, right? Which is when Luka is out. If you put Trey Burke, whose main skill is also having the ball in his hands, alongside him in the starting lineup, I'm not saying Jalen Brunson would be like a complete fade at that point or anything, but that's in my opinion, at least, a pretty big blow to Brunson's, especially his upside, more so than his floor. But a 7.4K, you need a little upside. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of side note, I'm just looking at this. How the hell does the NFL not stagger these two games tonight?
We
that
talked
is
about
just,
it for like 10 minutes on the NFL.
how do you not stagger them? Like, I know they're both going at 70. That is like the worst.
Unbelievable.
So dumb.
5 and 8, and there you go. Like, I fixed it for you.
Jeez. Just wild.
In 1 second, you know?
The only reason I could think of why they didn't was maybe there's like some licensing reasons with like some I don't know.
I tweeted about it, and people were trying to like defend the decision about like they both want to be in primetime. I was like, nah, like
no, that makes no sense.
I need some like hard evidence to show me that this was.
Well, like the Rams and the Seahawks are both West Coast. They're both West Coast teams. Like, why not move that one to 9 o'clock or something?
Well, the reason it makes no sense too is like, so when you brought up the primetime thing, you see every team is allocated a certain at least number of primetime games, and there's not a team losing a primetime game really because of this. So
yeah.
let's just be honest. The truth, like most NFL fans, you know, they got the week off or a lesser week here as we approach Christmas. They want to watch football, drink some beers. I mean, I personally, that's what I'm doing as well.
Yeah.
Why would you not put 7 hours of football on? It just makes no sense.
No sense.
Sounds wrong. I mean, I love 7 hours of commercial-free football on the Red Zone channel. I mean, we'll get some commercials, but 7 hours of football sounds like a better idea.
Yeah. What else are you going to do?
Let's move on. I don't think we got too much else to say from that Mavericks Timberwolves game. Hoop, any final thoughts here, or do you want to move on to that Suns and Lakers game?
Just really good game here. I mean, a game that I definitely want a lot of exposure to and could potentially be looking to get even more exposure to if Porzingis is out.
A couple things for me. You can load up on the Timberwolves here. Russell, Noel, I think is a good play. Towns, I love. I think Beasley is going to have to play 30-plus minutes in this game. I think Jalen McDaniels with his the direct people that are in front of him are Taurean Prince, to some extent Josh Okogie, to some extent Anthony Edwards, and to a large extent Jared Vanderbilt are all out. Timberwolves are very short-handed, and I think they have enough to compete in this game. I don't even know what the line is for this game, but I imagine it's somewhat close, right? And the Wolves that are out there, man, I think Russell and Towns can run a good pick and roll, operate the offense, and any of the Timberwolves that are out there are going to get some wide open threes and be out there for big minutes. And just especially the Wolf side, I really, really like here.
All right, Hoop, before we move on to this last game, we got 202 likes. It's 440 watching. So, I mean, we're at the last game, so I don't want to like make it too hard of a number, right? We could probably set it a little earlier. That's a little on us. So what do you want to make the number for the likes? We can get it home in this last game, and then, let's break it down.
And 250s, I mean, should have no problem getting 47 more likes, 250. Okay, don't let us go back-to-back either. I mean, we'll back-to-back, go right into the Discord or on the playbook, on the cash chart, whatever. So 250, easy number, get it done. One more game to talk about.
Yeah, push it home for us. Again, also, like, these are the loyal watching. It's around the holidays. People are busy. Let's get that thing home. Get the like, get the subscribe. I'll say it one more time just to make sure that people don't miss it. But, definitely hit it home. Let's go on to this last game, though. Let's talk about it. We got the Suns. We got the Lakers here. And, man, like, LeBron James, I don't know if you guys know this. He is back to sort of his old self. And the reason why I say that is there's a telling sign last game. It was the game where he had the least amount of dribbles and the most shots in the paint in a long time. And it's the season high for the year. He's clearly understanding, like, okay, like, I've been like kind of been more passive. He's been shooting more threes. He kind of has to take over right now. He's kind of has to, take charge. And I think LeBron is a great spend-up option. The question is, do we have enough value to make him worth it compared to some of these other guys in that 8 and 9K range and 7K? Because I think that range has been a really good range this year to target. So, DC, I'll go over to you. The Suns, they're a lot healthier, so they're tougher to roster. But, man, LeBron James is a stud tonight. He is someone that I'm not ignoring, and I think you got to think about tonight.
Yeah, I get that. This game will be one that I have less exposure to than most of those we talked about. I just won't have spots for this game, most likely an hour and a half, like you mentioned, Mangone, after the Wolves game. the last of my roster spots, unless something changes, which it absolutely could, right? With the slates that we're dealing with right now, I'm going elsewhere, honestly, than this game. I'm not hating on it too much, but I just don't have much. I mean, the Suns are still a really, really strong team. I expect the Suns to win this game against the Lakers. It's kind of crazy, but I actually think Chris Paul is arguably a better player than LeBron James right now. And certainly Russell Westbrook, you see it in the records. You see it. I mean, look at what the Suns have done. They had to take it's almost like the whole team took a break after the finals run in the bubble, but they're back and playing well. And I expect them to play well here. Lakers, to me, not so much. This team kind of seems like a spiraling team a little bit. LeBron trying to summon everything he's got to pull him out of it, but I don't see it with the Lakers. So I think the Suns win this game. I think the Suns defense clamps down a little bit on the Lakers, honestly. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm not anticipating a big Lakers performance here. So catch me on the other side of LeBron and Russell Westbrook. I won't have much myself.
Yeah, so interesting. I'm on the other side of, I think if I'm betting this, I would take the Lakers +6.
Fair enough.
Right? I would also wouldn't hate the sprinkling of the money line. I think that you're going to see LeBron do his thing tonight a little bit more. I just think he's in that mode right now. Hoop, agree or disagree? I mean, which side are you on? Do you like the Suns more? Do you like the Lakers? And what do you think of LeBron and Chris Paul and all these other studs in the spot?
If I was going to bet on it, probably take the Lakers. I don't feel great about it. I mean, they brought on Isaiah Thomas and gave him 30.
How does that not tell you everything you need to know?
I know. 32 and a half minutes.
Games. Chris Paul has played 24 minutes, exactly 24 minutes in each of them, because they've blown out teams so much, including the Hornets, right? A healthy Hornets team. They're coming in with LaMelo Ball, getting people back from COVID, and the Suns say, no, fuck you, we're going to win by 30 points.
Yeah, no,
30
I get. Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I feel like I hate LeBron. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like he's finally starting to say, "All right, it's got to start going through me." And I definitely prefer this team going through him than Russell Westbrook and Isaiah freaking Thomas. We'll see. I mean, for fantasy purposes, though, not a ton to like here. Yes, I'd play some LeBron. I'll play some Chris Paul. It's probably about it, though, for me. I'm just not excited about this game from a fantasy perspective. I think we have some really good games like Timberwolves, Mavs, Blazers, Pelicans, and now we just got the news that Derrick Rose is going to miss. So the Knicks become more in play as well. I'll be low exposure to this game for me.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that you did mention there, Hoop, that I think matters is, man, I sort of I kind of think that the Lakers will win it, right? But there's this one thing in the back of my mind, how good do I feel about the Isaiah Thomas being in the lineup? Not so great, obviously, for defensive reasons. And I'm definitely someone who's been on the Suns for a while now. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I do think that the Lakers, again, I'm just kind of betting on LeBron a little bit there. We'll see how it kind of shakes up here in this spot. But for DFS purposes, there's not a lot to love, right? Especially with that news that came in DC. So now that we have this Derrick Rose news, which is probably more important to talk about than some of these guys in this game, how are you handling Kemba Walker starting, and how are you handling some of these other Knicks? Let's give our final takeaway before the people hit that like and subscribe to push that thing home, which they're only 2 away. So I know they can get it home. And Stephen Coy in the chat room, never on, is saying 3 likes away. So let's get that home. But DC, give me that breakdown on Kemba.
I wish I had a stronger take on this one. I mean, Kemba, it seems like he can still play when he's given a chance. It's like I saw someone in the chat post the great Toby Keith quote, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. And this feels like maybe a game for Kemba, where everybody's out. It's got to be Kemba for one game. He took almost a month off and then dropped 43 fantasy points in 37 minutes in his first game back against Boston, right? I mean, that's against, I think, Marcus Smart defense. Now he's got Detroit, so it's Killian Hayes and Cade Cunningham trying to slow him down. And he's kind of maybe a little bit of a fuck you game from Kemba, I could see. So I'm in on that. Randall, I think, is going to have a big game here. And I like taking teams in all sports that I think are going to win the game, play well together. And I think the Knicks, despite all the stuff they're dealing with, I think they come out and play well. We know Kemba can get the minutes. He got 37 of them last game after a month off in the starting lineup. I mean, I expect a big game out of him for sure. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a guy we got to get in there. Hoop, final thoughts on that? Then the people pushed it home, right? Staring at 258. So, the people got the job done. Give me final thoughts on that before we move on and talk about those plays of the day.
Yeah, I mean, Kemba Walker back in the conversation for us tonight.
Got it.
Yeah. And then, so these are the guys that are better priced on like FanDuel. Like Alec Burks is 7.6 on DK, but only 5.6 on FanDuel. Fournier, stronger play. Randall on FanDuel, 8.8. Better plays overall on FanDuel, but they all get a pretty big boost here. I mean, Rose, when he's out there, he chucks. So big boost for these Knicks guys.
Yep. Nice little boost for those Knicks guys. You guys got it home. I do want to mention we have the NFL show. If you want to check that out, we got that, the lock coming up soon for that. So be sure to head on over to Run Pure Sports and get in and watch that show after this because, hey, there's no Up the Lock show with JSU, Holden, BigT. There's no show today for that. So you're stuck with us. We'll give you those plays of the day, but then get in that Discord. And obviously we'll be updating all the content and giving you all the breakdowns that we need. Hoop, let's go over to you. Give me the rich parents play of the day.
All right. I'm going to Portland. I'm going with my boy Norman Powell as the rich parents play of the day, playing a ton of minutes, chucking it, filling in admirably for CJ McCollum, tons of minutes, 39, 40, 40, 35. If Lillard is truly a little dinged up or if he sits, strong play, I think, either way. So Norman Powell will be the rich parents play of the day.
All right, Hoop, I'm going in the same game. I'm going similar position, but I'm going on the opposite side. I'm going to Josh Hart at that 5.7K price tag. You can do it on FanDuel at 6.6, but it's not as great. I think 5.7. He's really a great play on DraftKings. I think he, he's not going to be the highest owned play on the slate. He's not going to be the lowest. He's going to be a really good play. And I think the tournament upside is worth taking a shot on. So like myself, some Josh Hart here. He'll be my play of the day. DC, we'll go on over to you. Give me your play of the day.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out tickets here.
That too. Yeah, we got to do the tickets for sure. And live show.
I got 4 tickets to give away. A lot of good stuff in the chat. I'm giving away 4 $33 tickets. If your name is read here, DM me. We'll get you the money. The Kid, Slick Rick, VIP, and K Gould. The big winners there. Let me know. We'll get you those tickets, and hopefully we have some success there. Play of the day. Man, a lot of good options. I got to stick with my team, the Timberwolves. D'Angelo Russell drops a bomb tonight. Talking 50 plus. I think 60 plus is possible for D-Russ. I think you might get him lower owned than he should be. Edwards out. And then the big thing that I think is being a little overlooked is Beverly is out. Beverly, they let him run the point. You take Edwards out and you take Beverly out, and it will be D'Angelo Russell with the ball. I think he could put up a monster game against the Mavericks tonight.
I mean, Hoop, imagine not playing DC's play of the day after he spread all that good mojo. He spread the tickets, and I think we're going to be ending the night with D'Angelo Russell doing the ice in the veins, right?
Baby.
It feels like that kind of night there.
I'm bumping my exposures. I can't fade the good mojo. DC's in a good mood, giving out tickets, getting people excited. Like I got to play more Russell now. I mean, no turning back.
What were you planning on? You weren't that high on him?
No. I like in this spot, I'm on him for sure. Like, I mean, definitely like him 7.7 on DK. Like I said, playing with more of a higher floor than we've seen in the past. It's a good spot, close spread. I was on him, but I'm going to be more. Let me tell you,
I watched the Timberwolves play every single game. Game. You're going off tonight. There's just
love it.
Love the spot for him. That is going to wrap it up for us, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the Run Pure Sports NBA Hardwood Show. We will be back tomorrow. Thanks a lot for me, Mangone, DC, and Hoop. We'll see you guys later.